Check one.
Check 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Okay.
So
Should I just talk like this?
that'd be weird. You just like whisper. It's like an AS. What is it? ASMR
I'm seriously like the little sister you never
ARSM.
wanted. You're like, oh, you fucking loser.
What is the ASMR?
Yeah.
Is that what we just whisper and that's like a thing that people are into?
Because my mom always says I yell, but do I yell? Is my talking voice too loud?
Well, I mean, sometimes
screech.
no, not screech. It's more of a bellow, maybe, because you have a little bit of a deeper voice.
Yes.
But I'm also the same. I'm loud because I was a cheerleader, and also it's like choir a little bit, even though singing is like one of my deadliest fears ever. Which is in the back.
Choir and cheerleading. That's cool. Yeah, I did cheerleading a little bit too.
Yeah, of course we were.
Scorpios are always cheerleaders at some point, right? Or sorority girls.
So I don't think I could do sorority. I don't think I could be a sorority. I'm not good in group settings. I'm not,
I don't either.
A group activity.
Who did I think I was to pledge for SDT? That's why they called me Dog Ate My Homework, because I would always make excuses not to do the what's it called, they raid you, or what is it?
Rush Week.
The Rush Week, yeah, the tasks, Pledge Week.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, you could kiss, like I would probably beat somebody up.
Oh, you beat a motherfucker. You'd be like, yo, let's take it outside because I ain't doing shit. You'd probably do it for the justice for others. You'd be like, yo, Chanel's not hiking on that shit.
Yeah. Well, just the way that like they try to like degrade you and like kind of put you down, and it's very military-ish because the military does that. They break you down. And then it's like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing where all of a sudden like you're in love with your abuser. I love the USA. I love Delta, Delta, Delta. It's like, yeah, you were just brainwashed. They literally brainwash you, which is great. Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to the How to Do Drugs podcast.
Hey.
I am Alia Janine, your hostess. And then today I have my very good comedy pal and pal in general, Chanel Omari. How are you?
Good. How are you? What an honor to be on this podcast with Alia Janine.
Shut up.
No, this is one of my dreams. I swear. How thirsty was I to come on? I'm like, if you want me on the podcast.
Oh,
you're
no,
like,
I
do you
totally...
even do drugs?
Oh, no, it's about all levels of drugs.
Okay.
Yes, I've had recovering addicts. I've had a doctor on. I've had UFC fighter on.
Yeah,
I know.
a bunch of people.
I had my buddy Mick Foley on. Yeah, so it's all different levels. Yeah, from Mick Foley to Doug Stanhope, if that makes sense. To Mick Foley, accidentally, he had some experiences with this cool, what he thought he was overseas, and he thought it was like this weight loss stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it ended up being like GHB or something.
Oh, shit.
Like that.
I would so do that, too.
And his wife made him dump it down the toilet, which is amazing, to Doug Stanhope. So,
so fucking great. That must have been a journey.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. We're up to... I think Sovereign Sire, my buddy, my comedy wifey, Sovereign Sire, she was episode 25. I did take a little break in June, as most people maybe know. I don't remember if I told you, if I just started back up again.
Yeah, why? I was wondering. I'm like,
a bunch of my shit got hacked. It was like this whole deal. Yeah, people thought I was dead. It was really not that big
do you understand that I spoke to my... So that week I was doing comedy spots and I had I just paid a driver to go and I'm like, I don't know, my friend, she's not answering. He's like, okay, he was French. He's like, why don't you text her? I'm like, what a duh. I fucking texted her and called her and it's going straight to voicemail. Are you kidding? What if she's in the fucking ditch somewhere? We have to find her. And he's like, okay.
No, I just left my phone in my friend's car. Like I had my spare phone. I always have my spare phone, but nothing was coming in. Like
nothing.
I was able, like I texted people. That was the thing. I'm like, I'm normally quiet. I don't talk to a lot of people. And fucking Lewis, I love Lewis, but he's like, you didn't respond right away. I'm like, bitch, I will text you 8 times and you never respond.
Yeah, true.
I'm like,
that's why I gave you a pat. I'm like, you do.
It was just literally 2 days. People are like, she's dead, and I'm like, I'm just living my life. I mean, I did go on a little bit of a bender, but I was fine. And also, like, my computer, my laptop literally took a bath, so now I got, like, a new computer and stuff. Yeah, so it was just, I think it was, like, May or something like that, or May or June.
Yeah,
that, the pod was kind of down. Yeah, because I didn't have anything, because I do all my own stuff. So, That was fine. I also had the Patreon. It's still up there. I'm not charging anyone.
Oh, that's nice
for it right now. Well, I made all those episodes public because I was like, fuck, I need to put out more content now that I have it. And thank God a lot of it was saved and stuff that I had. Thank you, iCloud, I guess. More Time Machine or whatever the fuck that is. I'm not sure if I'm going to bring it back. I've been looking at some studios and stuff like that, some networks, so that's the reason why. And I don't know what I want to do with it. Like, I thought I had everything that I want to do. I'm like, this is it was a lot of work. I was doing, like, weekly vlogs, and then I'm still doing listener letters, by the way. So if you guys do want to send me your listener letters, your stories about your experiences with drugs or without drugs, please email me at howtododrugsnyc@gmail.com. And I'm still doing those. Yeah, but I was just I'm like, this is a lot of work. And it's not paying me a lot right now. That's my whole thing. I'm like, I'm not doing shit unless I'm getting fucking paid. I mean, it's like Patreon, and it takes a while to build up and stuff like that. But as you know, I'm not good with the patience.
Well, you have more patience than most people I know than me, I think. I mean, and the funny thing is, not to bring age into it, but I feel like I would be like you. I would be missing for 2 days. I'm not so into right? Our generation's not so into social media, where millennial would be like, I cannot disappear in 2 days without it looking like a crime and a kidnap.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm normally, I do, like, I try to post, something. And that's,
you're great with content,
And that's just because I'm never not fighting websites like Pornhub and X videos for, like, Google placement. So a lot of people are like, why do you post? I'm like, I kind of have to, because I'm fighting different battles than you motherfuckers.
Than most you bitches.
Yeah, like, I do take breaks, but normally I tell people that I take breaks. This one I did, because I only thought it was going to be a day, and then, like, computer happened, lost my phone, and I was just like,
isn't it funny also when you go on a bender? I feel like I've been through this, even with marijuana. It's like, I'll disappear for 2 days. Is that a thing? Is that a normal thing?
Well, I mean, but I also don't, like, talk to a lot of people all the time,
Anyway, right.
Yeah, so I was just like, and especially in that short amount of time, when I got my phone back, I'm like, I started laughing.
Wait, were you happy that, like, you're like, oh, people care?
Well, no, but honestly, the first thought that I had was, I'm like, all right, so I have exactly this much time. Like, that's the response time if I were to ever off myself. But also, if I were to ever off myself, I would definitely not make it that fucking obvious. Like,
I was like, she's smarter than this.
Yeah, a lot. Because my uncle's like, he's like, people wouldn't know for weeks. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I have way more skills than that, you guys. Give a bitch some credit. Yeah.
You're like, at the end of all this, the moral of the story is, you guys underestimated me.
Yeah.
You need to give me more credit than that.
Yeah, which was very disappointing in y'all. That's for sure. But no, it was, I was just like, oh shit.
Wait, are you allowed to share what you did that weekend or what you
did? Yeah. I think I may have said it. I normally don't fuck with Xanax and stuff. I've never been a pill person.
Me too, yeah.
That much, but I did some Xanax, and I didn't have to do a lot. Like, I wasn't drinking. That's the thing, because that's how one of my buddies died. I'm like, do not drink while doing Xanax. So I didn't drink at all. I was very smart about it, because I'm a smart drug addict. I'm responsible.
A little Xanax can't hurt anyone. It's a really good drug sometimes.
Well, you do it, like, because I also don't like feeling like that. But I was also kind of like, there was, like, I stopped seeing this dude, and there was, like, family drama, and I'm like, maybe some Xanax. Like, let's just try it.
Right, let me just numb myself and forget it.
Yeah, let's see how and I'm like, this is kind of unpleasant. Like, it wasn't as much fun, and I knew that already because I've done it once or twice before, but, I'm an idiot, and try again.
By the way, drinking on it, because I know it's bad and responsible. I did used to do that in college because I'm prescribed Xanax.
Oh,
prescribed Xanax.
Oh, yeah, I'm prescribed
to calm down.
Yeah.
But when you take just a little and you drink just a little and it's in moderation, it is, I'm not encouraging it. It is, I do understand how you get lost in it. And why, like, I literally would go MIA for 2 days and be, like, in such a cloud nine, such a happy, like,
happy
state.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's not too much where you're like, ew, man, I forgot everything last night. Like, you remember, but, like, you're numb.
Yeah. I didn't, like, the main thing is I don't like how I feel the next day. I feel like it's something that I'm like, oh, fuck, do I need to take? Because it's a narcotic, and it's an addictive narcotic, and I do have that very addictive thing. But I was always like, I don't like the way it makes me, because I always feel like way worse than a hangover. It's like, it's this really weird, it's almost like also mentally sad, kind of like if you've ever done ecstasy before, where it's like you are legally depressed for the next couple of days because all the serotonin, like all your happy brain chemicals have been depleted because you just made this drug fucking force it all out of you kind of thing. So with that, yeah, I don't like the way that I feel, but I was also like kind of worried if my body would want it again, you know, because like that, or my brain even be like, oh, do I want more of that? And it wasn't necessarily that. My brain likes cocaine. My brain loves uppers. I think it's the ADHD. Downers is definitely. And now I know. Again, I mean, I knew before, but
lesson learned. I mean, it's funny because I love downers. See, because I'm already such a high. I guess I have a lot of energy, but you. But like, I guess I need the downer, so that's why I like indica marijuana or like ecstasy is great because it kind of makes you go low in the end, and you get tired after you're like super happy.
Yeah, you like that. Well, you're
or Molly.
Like when I when I go out, because like with work and stuff like that, because I guess I'm an empath or whatever, but like a lot of times when I do like a bunch of shows in a row, like I'll stay home, like, and I have to, like, because it's so much physical like energy and stuff. Yeah, so when I'm out, I'm fucking great, but yeah, a lot of times I'm like, I just need to be away from people and like recharge with me and my crystals or what the fuck ever, and just kind of so I do have energy when I'm out. Cocaine and stuff like that, or even Adderall, like that helps keep me going longer, basically. But then, then I'll be home for like 2 weeks and be like, oh, I need to not be around. And it's mainly I just can't be around people.
I have that too. I was like, I thought I was the only person, like,
no,
because we're extroverts as performers, but then we're introverts.
So like the introverted extrovert. Yeah, it's very.
It's interesting that you share that, because I was like, I thought I was the only one. Like,
no, there's definitely a couple of performers where it's like I'm the same way, where it's like I need to just like recharge, like mentally, just not be around people. Especially, like, there's some people are just, like, high energy.
All the time, right? And they can be around so many people and like, consistently.
Yeah. Well, some people, that's also a type of drug, maybe, like an addiction to always need that, to have that. Like, maybe they're missing something where they constantly have to be, you know, maybe their moms didn't love them or something.
Yes, I love the psychology in this because it's so true.
Yeah, that some people need that. And also some people don't like to be alone with themselves. Like, some people really... I mean, I think a lot of people learned that over quarantine. It's like, I really don't like myself that much. I cannot be with myself for this long. And I was like, I'm normally by this... Like, quarantine was really no different than my regular life.
I want to cheers with you right now, because me too. It's like, am I the only one who's thinking this way? Like, this is amazing.
This is and then there was no FOMO, because nobody...
no one was doing shit.
No one was doing a goddamn thing. We're all doing the same thing. Yeah, the only thing that sucks is that every once in a while I'll be like, I would like to go do... I can't do comedy. Or I like to go grab a drink or something. Every once in a while, I'll even go pick up my own food. That's so rare, but
like you would just want to,
But I think that was also like because we couldn't. Then I'm like, now I want to. Like, we take advantage of all that to like, now I want to go pick up my own food.
No delivery for me. Okay, I'm a hardworking white bitch. No. But like that's this. I mean, doing drugs and staying home and being introverted sometimes is really a good escape.
I think, we do, I definitely think people need to appreciate that more, that alone time, and like being able to like sit with yourself. And as Sovereign had said in the last one, she's like, I was forced to. She's like, and a lot of people, if you guys were smart and you use that time, a lot of people work through a lot of shit. I noticed. A lot of people are a lot happier.
Yes.
A lot of people are a lot calmer, especially like comics and shit like that.
Calmer, not less angry.
Yeah, like it really did help with some people. I'm sure some people are the exact opposite, but I notice a lot of people, I think a lot of people work through a lot of shit, especially if they live by themselves. Some people, you know, couples stay together, some couples broke up, and it's like, we use that time because hopefully... We'll never have to, you know, like that is definitely once in a lifetime kind of like a pandemic where we're like all inside in quarantine. Like, I can't even remember. I'm sure there was another time when, like, especially here in the States, where people had to do that kind of thing. So yeah, so hopefully more people utilize that time to work through their trauma, their issues.
I love eating alone. Like I had to do that a lot. Like where I didn't need someone to eat.
Oh yeah,
to chill with, and I worked through that through therapy because you're right. You have to be able to sit and enjoy your own company. Because
like I've gone to the movies by myself, and that was always I'm like, oh my god, people must think I'm like the ugliest person, and then nobody likes me because that's automatically what people who are like really depressed and like low self-esteem and self-respect and shit like that, and then all of a sudden like, no, go to the movies. It's so nice.
It's so nice to go to the movies by yourself.
I love going to the Angelica Theater, like the matinees. Like I'll totally go and just
cool.
and like take myself out on a date. It's not even taking myself on a date. I'm just doing shit. Be like, I'm gonna go to a movie today, and that's it. Yeah,
because if you can't enjoy your own company, you're right. How is someone else gonna really genuinely enjoy it? Right? So like, if you can genuinely enjoy it, I feel like that's such a great test to overcome.
It really is. Yeah, people definitely need to spend more time with them goddamn selves. Because you're like, why don't people like me? Well, you don't like you. so how is that? There you go. Like your dog doesn't even like you, kind of thing. So with you now, let's get to you. Let's talk about you and some drugs.
Ooh.
Now, you kind of, you're very Jewish.
Very, yes.
Very Jewish. And so your family is kind of strict when it comes with certain things. So how, like as a teenager, did you ever experiment with stuff? And did you ever get caught as a teenager?
Great question. Hope my mom doesn't watch this. By the way, my mom found a comedy clip on that note on Instagram, and she's like, "You better take it off and stop talking about me and lying about me."
Oh no!
Because I said she like took oxys after she had me. It was a joke.
Yeah.
But yes, speaking of strict, so growing up, I went to a private Jewish school, called Yeshiva, and in the 5 towns, and we had like a lot of rules, and I was like more of a good girl because I think we weren't exposed to a lot of drugs.
Okay.
But there were some of like the popular kids who I was friends with, the cool kids.
Of course.
They would experiment with and the seniors when we were freshmen, like they'd be like, let's go back after lunch at like kosher pizza style and let's smoke marijuana. But at the time I thought marijuana was so bad.
Yeah.
Because that's how my mom and my parents did. That was like the gateway drug, the first drug that really was publicized and stigmatized as like negative and like if you're a pothead, you're lazy, you're not going to equate to anything in society. Like those were the things. So I did stay away from that. My friends tried marijuana because the first time I tried weed was like in college. So I think I experimented more with like drinking, and what was interesting, Molly. You would think that a 16-year-old who's suppressed and like restricted would not try. Well, maybe some.
Yeah. Well.
But
Yeah.
Go straight to Molly.
Skip weed. Well, I did acid
and ecstasy, but
before I ever really smoked pot. So.
Oh, you did? Okay, so then we're the same. Yeah. So, and that stuff, of course, I couldn't let my mom know. So, and she would never even let me go to clubs. So what I would do was lie to her and like sneak out and say, "Oh, I'm having a sleepover with the girls.
I'm going to my friend's house. She's coming to my friend's house, and then we're not going to the other one's house."
Yeah, I said we're going out, and we'd have to like, prep ourselves with the, the excuses, and we would go to like Limelight and like not Studio 54, but like clubs like that, like Lotus. We would get fucked up, and then we would take ecstasy or Molly. Like that was our thing for 16. And I felt like it was also a way for us to rebel against our parents, because we were like, fuck you, you're making us go through all these rules and all this shit that we don't, whether we believe in it or not, like the main thing was being a good person. And I saw a lot of like bad shit happen, you know? But no, and one time I did get caught. Oh. So this is hilarious. So I was a sophomore in high school. Okay. And it was cool. The cool thing to hang out with all the seniors. And there was a guy I liked who was a senior, and we all went out. And I remember my best friend at the time was dating my cousin, who was a senior. Okay. And we all took Molly and drank a lot. I drank a lot. And you can't be drinking that much at and I was skinny. No, 15 years old with Molly. Like, that's fucking crazy.
And your bodies like, are still growing and figuring shit out.
Yes, yeah. I'm like so scrawny, like, let me take Molly. And they're like, who's this weirder bitch?
You're just like grinding your teeth like I like candy.
Yeah, I didn't even know who I was. You know what I mean? And I also wasn't like a drug person. It was just like I was mostly the good kid.
Well, it's like
but
experimenting.
Everyone experiments.
Yeah, but it's also especially, I think a lot of kids, especially the ones with strict parents, they're gonna do it more because you're telling them not to. My mom and shit, they were just like, you're gonna do drugs. We can't stop you. Just like be responsible about it. So like I didn't like I partied as much as like everyone else, but it wasn't like I need to like
right, because for me it was more of a desire because it was always you can't do this, you have to be perfect, you have to be the pretty one, you have to have this image, you can't you know, embarrass the family, drugs is a no-no. And even though like as you get older you're like drugs is a necessity with some people. I mean drugs is what America makes money off.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Makes the world go round. Let's be honest, whether it's prescribed or not. And you know, but then I got really drunk. I got so wasted that I got blacked out. And I remember even like dancing on the dance floor and like grinding my crush. And I was like, it was so mortifying, like Jersey Shore grinding, like Ronnie Jersey Shore grinding.
You don't know really
so
how
bad.
to dance.
Don't know how to dance. Like I'm
that
like,
high
he's
school
definitely not going to
dance
talk to me. Yes, he's like, he's definitely not going to talk to me anymore. I'm like, speak of like wanting to know if he likes me, everyone's going to be like, by the way, David hates you, like tomorrow. And I didn't remember anything. I remember just getting home almost like really having to go rush to the hospital because my cousin was worried because I was throwing up. And I even said to my cousin, like, if you weren't my cousin, I would fuck you.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, my thing is, I literally said to my first cousin, like, if I wasn't this drunk or fucked up, this is why I say do not do Molly and drink because that's like another ball game. Like do Molly by itself.
Yeah,
that is
it's
one of the even keel high. You know what I'm saying? I've done that Molly later on in my life, and it's like a better high anyway. You're more like aware and like in love. Like you're more about love than stupidity. Because I was like, if you weren't my cousin, I would fuck you. Like how awkward at every holiday fucking season, man. Like I need to take a sip.
Some kissing cousin type shit.
And my best friend was dating him at the time. She's like, dude, I didn't know if I should punch you in the face or cry for you. Like, you were so bad. I've never seen you out of your mind. You were always, like, the good kid. It was, like, weird to see, you know? It's like this, because in their eyes, they were like, there's two ways Chanel's going to end up after this night. Either the really dark, fucked up, like, drug addict, like, loser friend path, you know? Like, like I'm still 36, we're like, yo, I got weed. I can sell you weed.
Yeah.
Or never doing it again and too goody two shoes. So it's like, you don't want either or. And I remember he took me home and he's like, dude, I don't want, he never got me in trouble. He was always my savior and always protected me. And he said, I have a dilemma right now. I have to bring you in with your parents.
Yeah.
This is going to fucking ruin your life.
Yeah.
You will never go out again.
Yeah.
And I was so drunk and I was throwing up all over. My mom and dad saw me. They were like mortified. I mean, I remember the shame. They were just like, I feel like my mom...
Jews are real big on shame.
So big. My mom was like, I feel like I need to disown you. I'm like, I'm 15 and I'm throwing up in your bathroom. Like
that should be... That's like a pretty big punishment. The embarrassment of also not even knowing what you did. Because I definitely have come home like wasted as a kid and my mom would just be like... Like she wouldn't like sometimes she ground me depending on what it was or whatever. But she'd be like, I bet you learned a lesson, didn't you? And be like, yes, I did.
See, that's better parenting because like... The next day, I was punished enough going through those high school, are you kidding, halls. Everyone heard about it. Everyone's like, yo, Chanel, I heard you got twisted last night. Yo, Chanel. And then you're going by your crush, the guy on the football team, the hot guy, the one that you've been like best friends with. That you're grinding. And then the hot girl, the popular girl. Because like I was popular because I was like the class clown. So it was very hard to not be my friend, right? I was friends with everyone and I was always friends with the popular girls, but I wasn't the leader. And there was always this really pretty girl who got along with everyone. She's actually a good friend of mine till today. She's married. And she was there where I was like grinding in the middle of both of them. So imagine grinding in the middle of the cheerleader and football fucking
like the quarterback.
And you're just like waving around and then throwing up chopped salad all over everyone. It's disgusting. It's crazy. Everyone's like, what happened to this girl? She was a good kid.
Yeah.
But you know,
we gave her drugs.
And I didn't like that they shamed me for a long time. You know, my friends did, my family did.
Well, that's the Jewish way, I guess.
Jewish fucking way, which pisses me off, which we need to get better at. You know, because shaming and guilting someone doesn't make you a better person. Doesn't make them a better person.
No, I mean, if anything, it will make you want to even like you said,
do more bad stuff. And I did do that. I feel like I developed mental health issues also because my therapist said something interesting lately. She's like, I feel like. So it's like, this shit is damaging and you didn't even realize it because you weren't allowed to fight back. You were just told, like, you got to be this way. And if you're not this way, you're an asshole. You're just, that's why I have, like, low self-esteem or I struggle with it. And she's like, that really fucked you up. And it kind of makes you, no wonder why you, like, smoke a lot sometimes to, like, ease your anxiety or everyone has their gateway drug or drinking. I think that they stick to because I'm not a big drinker. But I do feel like my parents being so strict really kind of fucked me up.
Well, it
not even with a drug addiction, just even people addiction.
Well, I mean, it does create a lot of anxiety, a ton of anxiety and depression and like questioning your own feelings and your own thoughts. Because like for me, a lot of it was like I'm not. Like, you need to not man up, but it's like, oh, you don't feel that way, or it's like, you're fine kind of thing.
Oh, yes.
And so, like, you don't trust your own intuition about how you feel, and you're always like, people, like, you need to feel the way that these people think that you should. It's like, that's not how things work.
And it fucks you up.
And it does fuck you up as an adult, and especially with our generations, like a lot of mental health stuff, like we didn't really do that. There wasn't a lot of therapy and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you go to therapy, you're fucking like, crazy. You're a nut job.
You're a loon. Right. I couldn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Even my best friend was like, at the time, she's like, I can't believe, or now she's like, I can't believe her and her husband were like, we can't believe you're not as fucked up as you kind of should be from what you went through with the trauma. You would think that you would be like a heroin addict, no offense, at this point. Where you're trying to...
I should be dead.
Yeah. We're like both like...
be dead or...
where you're like numbing your pain and like... Because there's so much... But, as adults and mature adults like we try to be, we either take it out on comedy, which is a great platform, or creativity or therapy.
I think different generations like handled it differently too. Yeah, if you think about like shell shock and like World War II vets,
right.
Everyone was very strict. They used to beat the fuck out of their kids. Their kids are now our parents.
Oh, right. I forget
kind
that.
of thing. So a lot of people, dealt with just like a lot of physical abuse, where back then it was just discipline and the way that they spoke to children and stuff like that. And a lot of kids, I know, like our generation, like we always had to grow up really fast. We weren't allowed to really
be a kid.
Be kids. I was in charge of like always taking care of like my half brother and my stepbrother since I was like 7, and then it was like 7 till about 14, and then 14. I was basically an only child again, and so that's when I got into the drug thing. I'm like, oh, now I get to be a kid again, kind of thing.
Yes, so it's a very weird regression or whatever.
So a lot of people didn't really get to have like a childhood. So a lot of times they'll lash out in other ways, be, comics as adults, or, just goofballs in general, or not really take a lot of things seriously because they were forced to at such a young age. They're like, I didn't get a childhood, so I'm going to do this now.
Yeah, because I was very similar to you, too, upbringing, where I was the oldest of 3 kids. My mom would work with my dad. He would be overseas. She would work at the shoe stores. And I was 8 years old taking care of like a fucking 5-year-old.
And that was normal.
And I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, and she's like, oh, the part-time housekeeper is coming. And I'm like, dude, I'm 8 years old and I'm here with the kids for like 6 hours by myself. Yeah.
And that was normal. Like that was, and now you would leave an 8, 5, and 2-year-old.
You'd be reported.
You are going to jail. You are so going to
You and I could, like, report our moms now. What would happen? They'd be like, are you fucking kidding, Alia and Chanel? We'll kill you.
That would be hilarious. It'd be like, all our parents would be arrested.
Literally.
Like, most of our generation.
And it's funny how you're like, and we were taught not to feel. Like, I couldn't say anything because if I said something, I'd get in trouble. It'd be a whole, like, dramatic fight, which is also traumatizing.
Be like, get over it. My mom was
Get over it was their favorite.
Yeah.
People are suffering more than you. You'll find a way. Yeah. You'll always find a way.
Quit bitching about your shit. Yeah, so that was always, so a lot, I'm working on a new bit. I don't like to do them on podcasts, but, because I'm an exennial. What year were you born in again?
84.
Yeah, so you're, like, right at the end. So the exennials, which is, like, late Generation X, early millennials, we're the exennials. Like, we are our own generation. Yeah, it's, like, 77 to 84, and I'm like, this generation, like our generation specifically, like we're so fucked up because if you think about like a lot of the music that we listened to was like The Offspring, Self-Esteem, and Radiohead's Creep. It's like no wonder we're so fucked up.
Yeah, my favorite song.
Those are our favorite fucking song. It's like, yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Like we are so fucked. We are so fucked up. We're so sorry.
I'm a creep. Oh my god! And I'm like,
Yeah,
I love you, like, and I'm so proud to like sing it.
Yeah, self-esteem is one of my favorite ones.
Or even Nirvana was big during that time, right?
Yeah.
Which is funny how mental health was taboo, yet he was all about.
Yeah,
like,
with the suicide. Well, I think a lot of that too, like when people, especially celebrities and stuff like that, when they would, die from suicide, it was always like, oh, you could get help, but it was still really kind of quiet. It wasn't like, these are the numbers and blah, blah, blah. It was just like, oh, that's really sad. It's like, we can prevent that.
Right.
We can prevent people from offing themselves if we just like listen to them. A lot.
Yes.
They need therapy. They need to listen. Yeah, our generation is so fucked up because we're also like, we grew up with the internet. We're older than fucking MTV.
Yeah.
We're technically older than the internet.
Than MTV, bitch. It's so true that, and also, yeah, when you put religion on growing up and being suppressed, yeah, you tend to rebel later. Like I realized, my therapist recently said, she goes, I feel like you're 36 but going on 16. Like you're more like a teenager, not a typical 36-year-old, and I think that's because my brain shut down from the trauma, and like you said, I had to grow up fast at a point, and then once I didn't have to grow up fast anymore, I wanted to just be a kid. Yeah. Like now, and so like being responsible sucks. Yeah, and like even I think we talked about this where it's like I was a late bloomer smoking weed. Like not a lot of my friends smoke the way I want to smoke, where it's like you want to get that first high in high school. It's kind of like you guys, I feel like done that already. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, oh yeah, because there's a couple of people who started smoking weed way later in life. I know Derek Gaines. I keep talking about him. Really? Derek Gaines smoked later in life? He didn't start smoking pot until he was like 28. I want to say. Yeah, it was like 25. Yeah, so a couple of people, they definitely found it later, and I'm glad because I like smoking pot way more than I like Xanax and stuff, you know, and it definitely, like there's been very few times that I've had like extra anxiety or panic attacks from it, and that normally it's just maybe too much or also the type of weed, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely, weed can be very helpful. But it also, like, you can just be smoking just to get fucked up, just to get super stoned. Right, which isn't always, like, the best, right? Yeah. Like, also, I have, depression, anxiety, and so my therapist put me on it because it's organic. It's not like pills and me don't mix. I do have an addictive personality, so I realize if I take it, I'm going to be more addicted. And also, as a performer, I wasn't really performing because I was, like, a zombie. So nothing mattered to me in life. I was like, I'm happy, I'm fine. So I try to do, I just don't think abusing weed is smart. Like where you can't function and you can't do a set or you can't do a podcast because you're revolving. And that's happened to me, believe me, where I revolve it around weed. And I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah. But you want to get, it's like you said that weekend when you like, if you're breaking up with someone, especially me, I have a hard time with heartbreak. So I got to numb the shit out, and I'm not doing heroin. Yeah. So I'm like, let me smoke that weed. And it's like, my ex used to be like, yo, you smoke weed like it's heroin. Like to get that high. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, the first high. Yeah. I've noticed that sometimes like if you don't smoke for a while and you like if I don't smoke, like yesterday I didn't smoke all day. For sometimes like I've definitely noticed now that I'm older I don't smoke as much. But yeah, yesterday I didn't smoke all day, and then I smoked a little bit before I went to go do comedy fight night, and and I was sitting on the train. I was like, oh, I am really stoned right now. Oh, fuck. I'm like, I was not expecting that. That's a nice surprise, though. You're right. Maybe no, it is. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, I wasn't expecting to be this high before comedy fight night. I sobered up because it was about a half hour or whatever before the show started. But I was like, that's what happened to me on the 4th of July when I did their show. But I also had like a liquid edible from my buddy. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm real high. I was just, so. Edibles are good, too. So sometimes it is, but like that first, like that's why I don't eat a lot of edibles, because edibles will give me that like first stoned feeling where I'm just like, whoa, and like it's nice, but I like just like a couple hits here and there. I can function. Yes. And everything's just, and everything's just nice. But yeah, I have definitely over smoked. And sometimes like if we're going to the movies and it's like a comedy or something like that, I'm like, oh, let's, get super stoned. But yeah, it does, it can take more
for you to do that, but that's why, like, any good drug addict knows that if you want to get high, you can't do it for a while. Like, my dad,
that's the tip.
my dad used to take breaks. He would, because I think I learned, unfortunately, like, subconsciously, a lot of his drug habits. So he's a
Kids, don't try this at home.
Yeah, he was a functioning drug addict, but, you know, bipolar, manic depressant, PTSD from the Vietnam War kind of thing. But he would go on these benders and stuff like that. He'd be gone for like a week or two and then come back, and then 3 weeks. He'd be fine. Like the first week, he'd be like, we don't fuck with dad. Second week, he'd be a little bit more social. Third week, greatest dad in the world. Then a week, and then he'd go away. It was almost like this monthly kind of thing. But yeah, he would clean himself up so that way when he did go get high, it would be cheaper. It's more cost effective.
Imagine like doing drugs. It's like I need to do drugs cost effectively.
Yeah, it's like if I'm gonna do my drugs,
that was probably hard because it's a roller coaster, right? Like your dad in and out, and
oh yeah, with the bipolar. Oh, especially his manic phases were so much fun. You'd be like, "Let me buy you a car, and then let's rebuild the car." Yeah, and then we rebuild the car for like a week, and then the car would be sold.
That's the disappointment. My dad also, he would travel for work, but I feel like his addiction was like more work. He probably had other vices, you know, but he would literally be gone for like 3 weeks out of the month.
Yeah.
And then come back and he'd be the best dad in the world. Wow, it's really crazy how we similarly, but they were different, you know. And I think that also adds to it, right? Why you want to do drugs later on in life, because you're just kind of like, wait a minute, I'm realizing how fucked up I was raised or how fucked up things have been for me, and it's kind of spiraling in my career or my work life or my friendship life, and then you're like, oh wait, I need to like, but now I need to smoke or I need to do drugs to numb. But now I smoke almost like a medication. It's like taking a pill, like your birth control every day. Does that make like a joint a day?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. A joint a day keeps the demons away.
Ooh, I should go on a t-shirt. Hello.
But it is. It's very much. It could be a very good like antidepressant. I definitely would rather smoke weed. Have you ever tried anything else? Well, you've tried Molly. Have you ever tried like hallucinogenics or like even cocaine or anything like that?
Never tried cocaine.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do on a hallucinogenic.
I feel like I would go, wouldn't I be bugging out and bugging
I think it would,
out? What do you think I would do? Yeah, let's have the Alia
like with
prediction. Because you know me pretty well more than most.
I think like if we were out in nature and like in a safe space, I think you would have a fucking blast. I think that
like if I was with you.
Yeah, I think that maybe you try to get in your head, but I'm very good at helping people out of shit like that. But yeah, I think nature, you know, would be very fun. Maybe like a nice little outdoor concert or something like that. But anywhere else, I think maybe it wouldn't.
I would bug out.
Yeah, I I think you may bug out.
And
yeah, but like if we were at a club or something.
See, like, you know me, because like I don't see everyone's like, oh, but you're so social, you're so friendly, but that doesn't mean I can get along. I can get along with you, but it doesn't mean I trust you. And I'm safe with you under drugs.
Yeah,
you know?
You definitely have to be comfortable. And there's also that thing where a lot of people will get in their head. They're like, I'm going to have a bad trip. Well, then you're going to have a bad trip.
Right. You can't go into it, obviously.
Yeah, be like, I'm like, do you want to think about that? Maybe you need to think about that.
Maybe, yeah, because isn't there a thing with ayahuasca, which is, I guess it's not really a drug, but you take
no, it's a very strong.
Oh, it is a strong drug.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a hallucinating drug.
Oh, yeah.
And it's supposed to clear your mind or your system?
Well, they have, it could be very spiritual for some people. Some people do not think it can be one of those things, but a lot of people do think certain hallucinogenics, especially natives, Native Americans and a lot of tribal people, they absolutely use those as a form of their religion, spirituality. If you have demons, Native Americans with the peace pipe, but even with mushrooms and like peyote and ayahuasca and stuff like that, they use it as like a spiritual guide, as a way to like, even mentally like figure shit out. And some people who do that love that.
Right, I know. A lot of my friends are trying to get me to do it. I'm like, it's scary, but maybe it's helpful with spirituality.
I mean, there's like in California, there's little camps. Like you're there, you have your own little cabin.
Cool.
kind of thing. They make sure that like you can't drink or smoke weed for an entire month. They want your body completely free of all drugs and stuff like that. Oh yeah, no, because it is supposed to be like a spiritual journey.
I hear you're supposed to throw up. Is that true too?
You can't. Yeah, people.
What
yeah,
is that
it's
about?
just because it's yeah. No, it's just because it's the drug. It's just super strong and it like kind of fucks with your stomach a little bit. One of my girlfriends, anytime she would do like ecstasy or shrooms, like she would end up throwing up and then like she would start tripping. One of my other friends, every time she took E, she always had to poop.
Yeah, like there's always right. There's always something.
There's always that. I've never had the throw up stuff. Ayahuasca, I threw up a little bit. But yeah, I've never been one of those people that I think
that gets sick.
Well, no, there was one time on mushrooms. I was in Vegas, but I thought we were having. I remember I took what is it to stop you from having diarrhea? Ammonia or Imodium.
Imodium, yes.
Because I thought me and my dude we were gonna have anal. And we didn't, and so the next day, like we ate mushrooms. I remember I was really constipated, and I was like tripping. And I'm like, I think I have to poop. And so like he's like, you could do it. You can poop. I'm like, I don't think I can poop. And then like it was just like 2 little turds, and I'm like, I guess that's all that's coming right now. So there was one time with the pooping.
I would die. I feel like I would poop a lot if I did like coke. Like I would be that cokehead that would
it makes me go have to go so pee skinny.
But I would also be like a. What do you think I'd be like on coke? I'd be like a crackhead on 42nd Street.
Yeah, you should definitely. Oh no, you would love it. You'd be doing.
You'd be doing an addict.
Yeah, no, you'd be super bad.
I'd be super. I'd be like, wait, let me before my comedy set. Yeah, like a monster.
Yeah,
bro, but I'd be so skinny.
I'd be so thin.
Skinny. I'd be so. Every guy would want me
because I'm so skinny. Yeah, but your eyes would also be like sunken in.
I'd be like a crazy. Yeah. Everyone be like, Chanel Omari went fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think the coke was bad for you. No coke. Mushrooms, yeah, outdoors.
I do want to try shrooms. Maybe I'll try it with you or like people I'm safe with.
Yeah.
Like even shrooms, I did want to try it.
Because I like, and there's microdosing too with it. Like you take a little bit, you see how you feel.
Microdosing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, we need to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to just take a whole 1/8 right away, girl.
Oh, thank you for not peer pressuring. See, guys, get you good friends like Alia. She's not in fucking peer pressure like every motherfucker who's
be like, we're doing a quarter each and we're going to the park.
And I don't understand with coke, why does everyone want to make you do it? I guess they don't want to do it alone.
Yeah, because we're pathetic people.
I'm like, I was always peer pressured by that.
Yeah, no, I've never, like I've jokingly be like, but I've never, and like if people, because I've seen people like kind of not want to do it and other people try to peer pressure them, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like the worst.
I'm like, quit making people like you pathetic piece of shit. We're already horrible people. We don't need to add another one. I understand misery loves company, but we don't need...
Yeah, misery loves company. That's what's about.
Drug dealers are always the greatest. With that, be like, here, baby, just try a little bit. This is free. Tonight, it's free. In 2 weeks, when you're hooked, then it's not free.
And I'm going to take your money. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just good sales.
Thank God thank God I didn't get hooked, I guess, on drugs based on...
Yeah, I think that you would probably be like me and be like, I love cocaine!
Oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, it would be a problem. You'd be like, Chanel, I think you need to go to rehab.
Yeah. Well, now, because some of, there was the LA comics who had passed away, right, and so Kate who was hospitalized. I hope she's doing okay. I actually haven't heard anything about her as of late. So one of my buddies, he was actually on the show, one of my former, like current also, pot dealers. He normally He does pot, and he does, and he started growing his own mushrooms, which is super cool. Yeah, he loves doing, like, he make his own soap. He's great. I love him dearly. One of his buddies, like, just gave him an ounce of coke, and it was literally right after Michael K. Williams, because he also died that weekend. Right. So a bunch of people, but we don't know what he died of, so we're not speculating that it was a drug overdose yet, although he did have a problem with drugs, and they found paraphernalia in his house, but that's fentanyl. I'm like, why are you mixing a downer with an upper? Like, that's dumb. unless you want a speedball, then you use heroin or like ketamine and coke. It's just
I also
safer.
didn't understand because both drugs are super expensive. So why would you?
Well, fentanyl's actually real cheap. It's way cheaper.
Because all the celebrities were getting it from the doctors, and it was expensive.
Well, it's prescribed, yeah, but no, like that's why it's in everything because it's fucking. I guess it's cheaper and fucking and stronger. But yeah, he got this out. I'm like, dude, that like a bunch of people just died, and like someone had posted in the Legion of Skanks like private Facebook group. Like this place where you could get testing, like fentanyl testing strips, but it also had like kits to test your ecstasy and your acid.
That's great.
And so it's just like whole little science kit there with the little blotters and stuff. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So I had him order all of that. I'm like, dude, test this shit first.
Yes, I was just talking about this at the Jersey Shore with recent comments.
I think it's called safedance.org or
That's
something
good that you're
like
saying
that.
this because we literally had this
in
conversation, and it's safe to say this. It's a good encouragement because when you do drugs, it's not like we're encouraging you to do drugs, but if you do it safely, do it responsibly, and put others in a responsible situation. I swear to God, I was having this conversation with some comics at the Jersey Shore this weekend when we heard this news, and they were like, they were like, that's interesting. I'm like, you know what? If you do drugs, at least be responsible. Test it. They're like, but where are you going to get a test? How are you going to do that? Chanel, when you do drugs, it's about fun. I'm like, well, then take the extra step if you care enough about yourself or the other person, and just do it, and then you can have fun. Now, granted, I'm sure I bought weed where weed can be. I don't know if weed can be laced with fentanyl because it's a downer.
I think they could. I mean, because they would have to like sprinkle it on. They would have to purposely, you know, put it, and that would be weird. Oh, has it been done? I'm sure.
Why with coke it's easier to sprinkle it in?
Yeah, well, because it's a powder. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely I've smoked joints dipped in formaldehyde before. I don't recommend that.
Oh my God, how's that?
Did you
get points?
Ooh, sure.
You're like, you get fucked up.
It is, yeah. I mean, that was also real,
like great tip and.
Yeah, well,
it is. I'm going to try to get that because I want to be responsible now that I realized when that happened, I was like, it's something like, I guess, slapped me in the head like, okay, you got to get.
Well, you don't, you're not doing coke. So.
But if I ever did, I feel like, and tried it, I want to get it.
Well, it's kind of like when you're having sex and you don't have a condom. It's like, do you really need one? It's like,
yeah, you do.
Probably.
So you don't be worried after, right?
You kind of maybe.
Don't you feel better, like,
but also, like, you do it during the day. No, hell no, I'm a whore.
I feel like I'm a whore, too, but I feel like I feel better. I feel better sometimes because when I don't, I feel so
people,
crazy.
with certain people, I'm like, absolutely. But now, like, because I've had gonorrhea. I've gotten medication for chlamydia. I'm pretty sure I had it. I just never tested for it. I've had to get the medication for syphilis, even though I never had syphilis. Oh yeah, well, because there was a syphilis outbreak, and in order for people to work, they just made us get the vaccine. So I was like, fuck it, or not the vaccine, but the
medication,
big ass fucking needle in your butt. Painful. Oh, so painful. Unpainful. It was very painful. Yeah, no, test your stuff. You need
test yourself. Test yourself.
Because
I get tested by the fucking OG, the gyno every 6 months. She's like, dude, you're like out of your mind. I'm like, dude,
6 months actually isn't bad. Like
if I have like unsafe sex or just with someone.
Well, if I don't have
someone I don't trust, even with a condom, where I'm like, I'm a little paranoid.
Herpes is a little bit. I mean, now I know I have HPV. Herpes you can normally see. People if they have an outbreak, the only thing that you can't tell is if they're shedding. That's still one thing. Knock on wood that I haven't. God, fingers crossed. I'm probably going to be like fucking 45 and finally get that one and be like, all right, I crossed off the STD,
but
STI bingo
what's
card.
So scary is they don't tell you. These guys just don't fucking shit.
But see, now I can't get pregnant, so now I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
You can't, right? Like, I don't need to worry about another life. Fuck you, bitch.
Bad.
Fuck you, bitch.
But like in one night stands, condoms, yes. But it's like after like we're sleeping together for more than one time, then I'm like, no. But normally like the first time, like definitely.
Do you share results or do you make them get results? Because from now on,
I've definitely made people get no, 100% no. Ask
You're like,
people,
if you want to fuck me, you have to get results. But people guys get that I've.
Well, that's because they're dirty.
Or they're toxic. Too toxic
and also dirty. Like if you want to fuck me raw, like let's just go get tested. Like it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Why would it be that big of a deal if you're being honest?
Yeah. And then like especially like if you have birth control and stuff like that, like let's just go get tested and then we can fuck raw like animals. And that's that's totally 100.
I love how Alia, this is like a very safe, responsible way to do drugs and have sex, because that's the fucking way to go without being shamed.
Yeah, I'm a responsible degenerate.
I'm a responsible whore, a drug addict whore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, you gotta be.
Like
If these are the things that you like to do, then you should do them proper. Like, do it right.
Agreed.
Like, don't be fucking sloppy with this shit.
And people will have more respect for you that way.
Yeah.
Then they won't be telling you, like, yo, you're this or you're that. Because they'll be like, yo, Chanel can smoke weed because I know she gets her shit done at the end of the day. And she doesn't bother anyone. Oh, I know Alia can do, like, Xanax and, like...
Well, no people thought I was dead. I can't do
or, like, you know, they know that we'll get our shit done.
Yeah.
We're functional.
We're functional.
We care about other people's space, and we're going to be responsible for others. Like, I trust myself with you because I know you watch out for me to know you're not going to put me in a dangerous situation or yourself in an unhealthy situation.
Well, even last night at Comedy Fight Night, my buddy Dalton, he had taken some mushrooms, and he was judging with me the battle, and every once in a while I'd just be like, you good, you know, and he'd be standing around like kind of looking, I'm like, you okay? I'm touched, like I am the drug mom.
Well, I was gonna say, how do you feel if people come on your show before they do, like if they do drugs before your show? Do you care, even though, like, because I know professionals sometimes are like,
oh yeah, no, I think,
or do you not care? Do you not judge?
Well, I mean, everyone's different. Like, we've all like smoked pot, most people that I've had on before. I've definitely, like, I have gone on a show before where someone was super fucked up, and that was just really like weird. Right. It was just like, okay, no, like I want to do, a couple episodes where it's like, oh, maybe like we do mushrooms or something like that. But it would be like if someone would just come on the show super fucked.
Right. That's different than saying, oh, hey, you want to test microdosing?
Yeah, I'm like, that would be weird. Yeah,
that would have been cool for this podcast for me to try the first time. Maybe we do a part 2 and I try it with you for your Patreon. Hey, if you guys want me to try mushrooms, motherfuckers, then you got to sign up to Alia's Patreon, okay?
And
even though she's giving it for free, but I think you should charge at that point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any content on there anyway, to be honest. It's just there if you're still
That's a great incentive. They want to see, that's cool.
Like, who wants to see Chanel Omari? Well, we wouldn't have you on the podcast while on mushrooms. Not for your first time.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that would be setting me up for failure. Yeah.
Yeah. But afterwards, to talk about your experience with it. Yes, I want to have one of the other people that was on the show. They're now sober, so I want to have them back on and see how their sobriety is going.
That's interesting.
Yeah, maybe I may have helped with
that. Really is. See, this podcast it's helpful.
It is very helpful. I like to think so. Most of the time, I know what I'm talking about.
I think you're very brilliant.
No, I love you.
Thank you. You know how brilliant and beautiful
brilliant. Where can people find you on social media?
Okay, at Chanel Omari. And at Chanel in the City podcast. And at the All-Star Comedy Show, because it's an all-star comedy show I'm presenting once a month, once every 2 months. You've been on it.
Yeah, it was a super fun show at Broadway, right?
Yep, Broadway Comedy Club, All-Star. It's All-Star Comics. All you fabulous comedians that perform all over the city, you get to see them once a month on this amazing show. And thank you for being on it. It's hilarious.
It was great. It was super, super fun. Definitely check out Chanel and her podcast. You just had freaking Melissa Rivers on.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, and you're gonna be on soon.
Yes, which is great. Yeah, no, she has a lot of fun people on there. Definitely check out Chanel in the City podcast. Obviously, you can find this podcast, How to Do Drugs Pod, on Instagram and Twitter. Find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the places podcasts are, where you're listening to it right now. Also, YouTube. Please rate and subscribe. I do like how I got a 1-star. I only have 10 ratings, and I only have a 1-star. And you always know that, like, the 1-star ratings are from, like, that, one of the people that, like, don't like you. Because normally if someone actually listened to the podcast and they rate it 1 star, they have some shit to say. Sure. And they'll say some shit. normally when it's just a 1-star review and no one said anything, it's because it's someone that you know that doesn't like you.
So true. Hell no. I'm going to give you 5 stars. I'm going to rate your podcast
Little
right now,
bitch. It's fine.
That little bitch out there, you know who you are. You better fucking rate 5 or Auntie Coco is going to come and get you, loco. Okay? I'm going to like go Coco Loco. All of a sudden, someone calls you and they're like, Alia, I think your friend Chanel's at this fucking weird fan's house who gave you a star.
Like you're dressed in all black. Something like from...
Thank you so much for having me on, by the way.
James,
I love your... What an honor to be on this podcast. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. All right, you guys. Till next week. Bye.
Bye.